what's up, everybody? This is a couples review.
Hey,
We are here to review Married at First Sight, season 11, episode,
13, I think.
yep,
Yeah,
13.
yeah,
Okay, so
a
this
lot.
episode was a lot. Sorry it took us a minute. It just was so much. It was like, oh my God, that's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we give you something real good too, so we watched it a couple of times.
Okay, so we are going to start with Olivia and Brett. We knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy that it's done.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the best thing for both of them, really. I mean, and mainly, well, let me see, really best for both of them because I really didn't like either one of them
I agree.
more or less than the other one.
Well, I did like Olivia more if I had to choose. Because Brett was just super annoying, but they weren't meant to be together.
Nope.
Before we go ahead, let's just start from the beginning of them
Okay.
this episode. So Olivia, she works at a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been working even more since the pandemic happened. Now, they're having to basically stay at home. This is when the pandemic really started
Got to
getting
deal with the
serious for
COVID.
the couples. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now they are left to record themselves, basically. All the couples have to record. But I love it because now we're seeing the real deal, I feel.
I'm glad maybe that they
Ooh,
get
that
an opportunity to do that. But, I give you that side because I'm so upset with the with the experts. I'm so
Yeah.
upset with the experts.
Because they kept giving the excuse like, because of the pandemic, I'm sorry we haven't seen you guys, but there's always been internet.
There's always
Like,
been internet and they haven't
yeah.
seen them for 30 days or more. And
Mhm.
so, and you'll see that, but I am just so upset
I know.
at that. And I got to get that off my chest.
So
I
they
really do.
So they show Olivia and Brett kind of going around the house, kind of aimlessly, with nothing to do. Brett, makes a whole bunch of quesadillas. I don't know why he made that
I
many.
thought the same thing. Like, why did you need to make
Right.
100 quesadillas?
Right. I don't know, but I love quesadillas though. I could see, remember when I made a whole bunch of empanadas?
Mm-hmm.
It was because basically I made too much meat. So that could have been
Yeah, but still,
vegan meat,
quesadillas
by
are
the
a little
way.
bit different
Yeah,
because the way you cook them, and so you
that's
can
true.
stop. I
You
mean,
can
you
stop, yeah.
bake empanadas and you make all of the filling for an empanada.
Yeah.
Quesadillas, you sprinkle cheese on, you sprinkle whatever else you're gonna put on it, you
Right.
fold it up, and then you just cook it. Anyway,
That's true. So Brett and Olivia are watching TV. So this is when it really starts for them. They're watching a movie and Olivia is on her phone. And Brett says that he found out one of his pet peeves is when you're watching a movie with somebody and the other person is on their phone, not paying attention. So he then gets up and goes to the other room because he's frustrated. I'm thinking, why didn't you say anything? Not everybody know, like maybe that's not her pet peeve. So how was she supposed to know? I would know. I think that's a little rude, but then it's like, how is she supposed to know that that's an important movie for you? Because there's some movies that you watch that maybe I'm not interested in, but it's okay because we're just chilling.
It's just a conversation, and I mean,
Yeah.
really, I wonder what the conversation was before they had the movie. Or
Mhm.
if Brett had just been watching a movie, she came in and sat down because we didn't actually see that.
Yeah.
And we know that Brett lies and he manipulates, especially when he gets on camera.
Yeah.
So he probably just said that, but really, it wasn't like, oh, babe, let's watch this movie. It was, oh, what you watching? And then, oh, I'm watching The Terminator. Oh, okay. And then she's sitting there on his phone. He gets upset and she's like, I've seen The Terminator 12 times.
I can see it being like that because Brett seems to feel like people can read his mind. He doesn't seem like he thinks he communicates, but he doesn't communicate clearly when it comes to his emotions. So I could see him not really clearly saying, this is my favorite movie. You need to watch this, blah, blah, blah. And then she getting on her phone. I just highly doubt that he made her aware of that.
I'm sure she wasn't. Sure she
Right.
wasn't. Because I mean, again, everything for me now, what he says to us is whatever can make him look the best and make her
Yes.
look bad.
And he does that a lot
Oh
this
yeah,
episode.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so, the pandemic is happening and Olivia wants to go see her parents. And Brett is like, you shouldn't go. He says everybody else is telling her she shouldn't go and she's not listening. And so she goes. I think that really probably made him upset. But the reason why he says she shouldn't go, I don't feel is the real reason why he didn't want her to go.
Say that last part again.
The reason why he didn't want her to go to her parents' house, I don't feel it was just as like, I told her she shouldn't go and that was it.
No, I think he's afraid of the coronavirus.
Yeah, and he should have said that.
Oh,
He expects people to read his mind because I feel like if he told her, babe, I'm really a little scared about this and blah blah blah, I feel like it would have been a different response. But he just like he thinks sharing his emotions isn't cool, so he's just going to say, "No, you shouldn't go." When really he's not expressing how he truly feels about why she shouldn't go.
Brett's going to say that he said it, and then and Olivia's going to say that she never heard it. And this is how that would have happened. Brett
Yeah.
would have said, "Oh, this coronavirus seems really, like it sucks." And then Olivia would have been like, it doesn't seem as bad as it might sound."
Yeah.
And so they're just not communicating. They just are, they're just having comments that they just float in the
Yeah.
air. And so when he leaves, I think he leaves because when she goes to her mother house and he's thinking to himself, my friend just caught coronavirus because he just got a text message about it, then he's like, first of all, production left me here. Nobody's talking to me. And she's not listening when it comes to how I feel about coronavirus, and we're not on the same page about it. I'm not going to wait for her to come home and bring it back to me because she also works at a hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every man for themselves at that point.
Yeah. I agree. And I think he also downplays his feelings when he talks about it. And I think that's the issue because if you say, I think you have to be honest. Like when you're communicating, really tell the person how you feel. Because if you express it in a way that's not that serious and their response to it is as if you didn't think it was that serious, then you can't be mad at them that they're not taking it as serious as you because the way you expressed it was as if it's not that serious when really it was.
Well, so he's not really built for a relationship like this.
Yeah.
Because he can always go back and tell the cameras or tell other people that, well, I said these things. I've said that. He even said that. Well, we'll talk about it later, but
I think it's also because I think he also got mad about her going to see her parents because he already feels insecure or inferior. And so this was like another thing that made him feel like he had no authority. Like you already, I already don't make more than you. You don't like the house that I have. And then I try to tell you not to go to your parents and you still go. Even though he's not communicating how he needs to communicate, I feel like that was more so a part of him telling her she shouldn't do something and her doing it anyway. It just feeds into how he already feels like he has no authority.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I mean, he hasn't earned the right to tell her anything.
He hasn't earned it. I so agree because she's been doing so much by herself. The way he acts, he doesn't give you a vibe that he's someone that can be trusted to lead anything.
To lead, to be, to help you make decisions that are in the best interest of everything.
Right.
She's probably like, oh, if Brett told me not to do it, that's the thing to do.
Exactly, because he makes no sense. He makes no sense.
She's like, I'm gonna do the opposite. Now that's just how I'm gonna live my life.
Exactly. And then so Olivia, she gets home from her parents and she finds that all of Brett's things are gone. He even took everything out the pantry. I'm like, oh, he is so petty.
Well, that's how you go somebody, I guess. That's how you go missing. Somebody leave out, do something mundane, and then you take everything out the house. That's
right. But then that even goes like you didn't care about it being unsafe for her because I'm thinking you already know how hard it is to get stuff from the grocery store. You're so worried about her leaving, going to her parents, and you're making it seem as if it's because you're worried about her. But then she leaves and then you take everything with you from the pantry. but you already know how hard it is to get things from the grocery store. So it's all about him. But he loves to say that she isn't compromising.
Well, so okay, so I'm about to be on Brett a little bit, Brett's side, a little devil's advocate, and say that this is Brett's thought. One, my 8 weeks are done. I've done the 8 weeks that I signed up for, and we're still here, and nobody's communicating with me about anything when it comes to the experts talking about how everything is going, and when we're either going to, select who, if we're going to be together or not. If I believe if he had to select whether he'd be together with her or not on the 8th week, they would have said no. He would
Yeah.
have said no. So he feels like he's already did his obligation. So now when obviously she's not really with him in his mind because she's not listening to a lot of the things he says, which she shouldn't,
Hmm.
uh, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and get back on with my life
I
and,
mean,
and do what I
yeah,
gotta do.
I agree. I just wish he would own up to his lack of communication and not
Mm,
make it seem as if he's done all of these things and he said all of the right things and he's made it clear to her and she's still not, trying, and so now that's why he's leaving. It's fine to leave because I don't even think they should be together. I don't think they were a good match. So I think he should have left, and I am not surprised that they are not together because I don't think
absolutely.
they were a good match,
Nope.
but he didn't do a good job either.
No, he didn't do a good job. I don't think really either of them did a good job.
Yeah.
Um, and so
And
I'm
so,
glad that it's over.
yeah, likewise. And so, okay, so Olivia talks to Dr. Pepper
Mm.
and, they say, sorry we couldn't be there. We haven't talked to you guys in so long. I'm like, "Ugh, y'all could have been talking to the couples."
We haven't talked to you in so long. I
Right.
mean, a phone call, a
Mhm,
phone call.
exactly. And then I was thinking maybe that didn't happen because the production couldn't get together to, like, get the footage, but that just goes to show that this is just for the show, because if you're really invested in these couples, it wouldn't matter if you couldn't get
Exactly.
the camera
It's
crew together to
exactly.
put
And
everything
that's the
together.
problem is
Yeah.
that, and I didn't even think about it. You're
Mhm.
now it's clear. It's just a show. They don't actually care. So I mean, they're only asking these questions because they're on camera and they want to look good.
Yeah.
And so for her to say that, and she said that with every couple, every
Yeah.
single couple, she said every single, because she really only talked to the women, right?
Yeah, she only talked to the
Yeah,
women.
and so she said that the whole way through.
Yeah, because you coulda gave a quick call without the cameras, like, "Y'all good?"
Yo, what do you
"Let me
need?
give you a little bit of advice, at least to
Yeah,
hold you over until the cameras are able
this
to."
sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Something.
you know? Yeah, I thought that was weird. So Olivia says that there's no communication. This is what she tells Dr. Pepper, and one of the things that Olivia brought up was when Brett was playing the news a lot. The pandemic was all on the news, and she asked Brett to turn off the TV because she deals with COVID, all day at her
Right,
job.
and she wanted this to be a safe haven.
Yeah, and it seemed as if he kind of didn't understand that, but I totally understand her too. Like, he has to understand that she's working at the hospital. That goes into like, was he even present? I get that he's scared, but she's the woman and she's working at a hospital. Can you find something in your heart to make her feel comfortable?
Hmm.
Because if you're scared as a man, imagine how she must feel on the inside actually having to go to the hospital because that's her job.
Right. No, I absolutely get
And he
what you're
probably got
saying.
an attitude with her too when she wanted the TV off.
Because I mean, by the time she comes home, the whatever you just watched is going to be the same news that you watched earlier in that day. So you're right. He could have just turned it off. Yeah, I don't think she's afraid of COVID. That's what I think. That's kind of what I got from her when she said that, that he's always really talking about COVID, and the way that she presented it to Dr. Pepper was that almost as if COVID wasn't that big of a deal.
I agree. I kind of got it like that. Another side to it, I kind of thought is it could also be she's thinking this is what it is and I have to deal with it and I have no choice. So this is what it is. Like, it's no need for me getting all like crazy over it because tomorrow I have to wake up and go deal with it.
Right.
I
So
think
I
she's
can't be afraid of it.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's also probably part of her thought frame as well.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
You know.
And another thing that Olivia told Dr. Pepper is that Brett never expressed having a deep emotional feeling about her not visiting her family, which is what we said. Like, I knew that he probably didn't really like express that.
No, of course. No, I mean he never really communicates with her.
Yeah.
And
She
so
said he doesn't communicate his true feelings
and
about
then
them.
he'll say whatever he wants to the camera. I can't, yeah.
Mhm. And nothing, and Olivia feels like he feels like nothing is ever his fault. Everything is always everybody else's fault. The production's fault, the expert's fault, her fault.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is always everybody else, which I could see that
Oh
in
yeah.
him.
He never really takes responsibility for his actions.
Yeah.
And I think he actually ends up saying it a little bit later on, but he really wasn't ready to be
Mhm.
married. He really
Yeah.
wasn't ready to be married.
I totally agree.
Especially not married at first sight. He really needed to be in a relationship where he felt like he wanted to compromise because he's
Yeah.
not going to just give up compromise easily. He'll just live alone in the woods with his cats.
Right.
He's cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And so, he had already moved out at the time that Olivia was speaking with Dr. Pepper. So she also mentions that Brett didn't make it clear that he was moving out. They show a clip of them talking on the phone now. And Brett said, when she was like, basically, you just moved out, you didn't let me know. Brett said he doesn't see the point of them making it work when they both want different things out of life. Um, but he lied to Pastor Cal. That's not what he said
No,
either way.
he actually even lied to her on the phone at the same time when he
Mhm.
said, "Oh, I told you I was moving out." And she was like,
Exactly.
"No, you didn't." And then he made some comment about miscommunication. And let me tell you,
Mhm.
there's really no such thing as miscommunication.
You don't think
Either
so?
you understand it or you don't understand it.
Mhm.
You can't just assume somebody knows something and then no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Dr. Pepper asks, was it that you were giving him such little positivity that made him react that way? And I kind of felt like I wonder if she got something back from the producers that kind of said that she's kind of has a lack of personality. Because I was wondering why she would ask that like
Mm,
specific thing. Was
mm.
it that you were giving him little positivity? Um, but she said, but Olivia answered and said, maybe that, but maybe that as well. But also, there wasn't any effort on the other side either. So, I mean, that's true. They both could
Eh,
have been better, more
yeah.
so on Brett's side, in my opinion, but they both weren't perfect.
Neither one of them really embraced this as a
Mhm.
marriage. It was
Mhm.
almost like they kind of got stuck into a closet together and then was looking at each other like, so what do we do?
Right.
And nobody had an answer.
Right.
Nobody had an answer. Brett wasn't going to come after her for her to feel like it. And neither was Olivia. It's almost like they came there with friends and then was the ones who got picked.
Right.
And they were like, so
So Brett talked to Pastor Cal and he said the reason that he moved out was because his cats were getting scratched up by Olivia's cats. So he decided to move back home. I'm like, look at him once again,
again,
even putting the cats like his cat did nothing. Her cat just kept antagonizing his. I'm like, oh, shut up. He is so weak.
right. And well, see, Pastor Kyle already knew. He just asked him
Yeah.
to see what he would say
Mm-hmm.
about it to get the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no. I mean, he was like, are you sure it wasn't because of how you feel about this relationship?
Exactly. Yep.
And that's when he's like, well,
But he still didn't clearly say that was the reason. He just said they do have differences, but he didn't really say, okay, yeah, that's why, Or did he? Do you think he did clearly? I don't
well,
think it was clear.
I think he was talking more for himself, but he put both of them in the picture. But I really
Mm-hmm.
do sort of believe that about both of them, which is that neither one of them got into this really expecting to have to compromise as much as they're going to have to compromise. But I
Yeah.
do believe Olivia was a bit more willing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, Brett, as the man, generally would need to be the first one to lead, and because he wasn't, it wasn't going to ever be a good thing.
I agree. And then Pastor Cal kept asking Brett, like, when did things start changing? He was trying to pinpoint something that happened, and Brett couldn't think of a time. And I think it was because it was something that you did. That's why you can't think of a time. That's how I felt.
I think it was probably a combination of a bunch of things that went that way, but I believe
You
the
think
fact that
so?
they really weren't getting closer together, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that their relationship wasn't growing, that they weren't becoming intimate, they weren't even acting like boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, if you can't
Yeah.
even act like boyfriend and girlfriend, then this is not going to work as a
Right.
marriage. I mean, if you're going to act like strangers the whole time, then it's
Well, we
done.
did see the clip of them hugging and stuff. They weren't acting like total strangers. I mean,
Yeah, that's
not to
true.
me.
Yeah, that's true. There was some
But
moments of it.
But either way, Brett is like pretty sure that he's done. He said he's committed that they're not the best options for each other. That's what
Oh
he's
yeah,
committed to.
that was his bottom line answer.
Exactly.
He's committed to believing that they're not supposed to be together.
Exactly. So then Olivia and Brett talk, and he basically goes in and says that he doesn't want to wait 5 to 6 years to have kids. I guess he's naming like basically the reasons why they won't work. Olivia tried to make it clear that I never said I didn't want to have kids. I just there's things that I wanted to do before then that you don't want to help me get to.
Right. Which he wasn't. He wasn't
Exactly.
he wasn't ready or willing to put in the effort to be
Mhm.
with Olivia. And so
Yeah.
Olivia would never want to have kids with a person that doesn't want to be with
Yeah.
her. So that's why she said that.
Exactly. And then Olivia starts kind of going more into her feelings. But at this moment, you could see on Brett's face that he was definitely not interested in having any discussion. So she asked, "Are you willing to try?" And he goes, No, no thanks."
Yeah, he said no.
Then he looked at his watch. Ooh, that was so
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Do you think that between now and decision day that anything could be done to try to, I guess, go in the other direction?
No thanks.
But yeah, for him it was already over. His 8 weeks had been done.
He is
So
such a donkey's butt.
yeah.
He is because I mean, God, like it was just mean. It was just a mean way of breaking up with somebody.
Well, his communication sucks.
Right.
So his communication sucks. So no, it's not gonna.
Okay, guys. So that was Olivia and Brett. They're done. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like,
Comment.
and subscribe. We love to talk to you guys down below. Oh, also make sure you share this video with anybody that really loves to watch Married at First Sight. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What happened to you? Where did your mind go? Your mind went somewhere else, didn't it?